Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Lewis's vlog, and we started the week off with a medium grip bench press. So for him on conjugate, because we have still limited equipment, we don't have a proper rack for pin work, all of these things, I'm having him do a wider variety of grip widths, right? But we are in the process of getting him a proper rack, which again will allow us to do a lot more with his squats and everything. But again, we got a decent bench there. At this point, he's also going over to maintenance calories because there's no need for us to continue to gain body weight at his current body fat and strength. I believe he's now in a position where we can recomposition a little bit for a while. So again, we avoid any excess fat gain. You know, people pointed that out very rudely in some of the previous vlogs. Like, what do you mean he's a hard gainer? You know, he's gained body fat, and they'll point that out. And it's like, we're aware of that. He still struggled to gain weight. It requires him to put a lot of effort into eating enough. That's the difference. A hard gainer means that you have a low appetite. That is the definition of a hard gainer. Someone who struggles to eat enough to gain weight. Okay, very straightforward. So, for supplemental work, we do pause benching, we do chins, we do JM presses, we do lateral raises. Now, we are reducing some of his stuff. Of course, we've got some rows in here too. I'm reducing his overall volumes just slightly. And the reason for that, again, we come back over to maintenance calories. Okay, we come over to maintenance calories. And, that's something I've said in the past too. I always tell people, look, I believe that people need to generally bulk and cut. But for a lot of my strength athletes, people who are never at an unacceptable body fat for their goals, we don't always follow that. I'll oftentimes say, look, we can recomp and we can lean bulk. Okay? Meaning we very rarely worry about the scale going down unless they need a weight class or they're trying to get really lean and need a cut. But for people who just want to be big and strong, I don't worry about that most of the time. As long as they're at a comfortable body fat, we can do phases of recomposition and then phases of lean bulks. But that's a big difference too. They're also not pursuing really low body fats. Anyone who's pursuing low body fats is going to have to do very dedicated bulks and cuts. Right? It's just the nature of it. Irrespective of whether you're someone who's an easy gainer or hard gainer, it's just that they're going to have to work a lot harder on the opposite extreme. Meaning that the hard gainer is going to have to really work to bulk and the easy gainer is going to have to really work hard to cut. But in this case, this is what we're going to do for a bit. Again, his body fat's high enough, we can get away with this. It's like I always tell people, recomposition works on a sliding scale. There are 3 factors that determine if you're even able to recomp at all, and the degree to which you can do so, and the difficulty at which it will be achieved. And I've always said that it's level of training of experience. In other words, how much muscle you have, that's number 1. Number 2, how high is your body fat? And number 3, how drug-free are you? Because enhanced isn't a yes or no, that's a massive, enormous range. Okay? There's a massive amount of variation in there. Obviously, at the one extreme is the person who is completely drug-free, which he would qualify as. That's one of the extreme ends. The other extreme end is, someone who uses IFBB Pro amounts of drugs. And then most people who use stuff are in between there somewhere on a pretty wide spectrum. And in his case, he's still not advanced. His body fat has gone up, and he's in a position now to where he has enough energy reserves that we can do this. Someone who's 12 or 13% body fat is not going to recomp drug-free. It's just don't even waste your time. It's a waste of time. Good luck on that. Not saying it's impossible. It's just improbable. So, lower body max effort, of course, we did a box squat this week. Then we did split squats, good mornings, glute bridges, hanging leg raises. Right? Very basic. Again, he only has the basics, so that's what we work with. We don't have other stuff. Would I have him do leg presses and reverse hypers and all those things. If he had access to them, of course. We don't. We have very basic stuff. Barbells, we have some light dumbbells, we have some light bands. That's it. We don't have a proper rack, we have a stand. So we work with what we have. And we're making it work. He's continuing to slowly get bigger and stronger, right? It's much slower than it was, but he's still trucking along. He's still making progress. All right, dynamic effort upper day. We are no longer doing the incline bench. I took that extra volume out. We don't need it. So I have him do speed benching. We do rows, chins, JM press, lateral raise. All right, very, very straightforward. Then we get over to the dynamic effort lower. All right, somebody sent these to me out of order and I forgot to switch them back out. So we're doing sumo speed pulls, but that's done second. We are doing speed box squats, right? Speed box squats. Again, we work with what we have. He's got a box, he's got a barbell. So we just do them with a straight bar, no bands, chains, no specialty bars. And it's just fine. All right, we do dumbbell split squats here. And he's finally getting to a point where he's getting deep enough on them consistently. It's one of the mistakes people will make on an exercise like that. They'll come in and then they don't go deep enough. And it's like, well, what's the point? We're doing these smaller movements to work your quads, and if you're not going to get them in a lengthened position, why are we wasting the time on it? Right? We use them because they have a good stimulus to fatigue in the quads and adductors. But the quads, to get the most growth, we really do need to go pretty deep. We need to at least break parallel. We have to get into that lengthened position if we want to maximize hypertrophy. Otherwise, we're not going to get the squat carryover that we want. Okay, and on those, sometimes, these are smaller movements. We're not chasing big numbers. Sometimes you have to reduce the weight on them to get that range of motion. Perfectly acceptable. Because again, you've got to look at a movement like that and ask, why are we doing it? Yes, progressive overload matters. Yes, tension matters. But not at the expense of reducing mechanical tension. And if you're skipping the part where the muscle's in the lengthened position, you are reducing mechanical tension, even though you've got more weight. So again, that range of motion matters, even if it means reducing the weight that you're using. And then, of course, we finish up with glute bridges and hanging leg raises. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.